Hello everybody, and today we will be doing episode 2 of my Kerbal Space Program Science series. And today we will be trying to get into orbit. Today we will be using a simple rocket comprised of a 2-stage core and 4 outer boosters, 2 of which have 2 stages, and the other 2 only have 1 stage. On the first stage of our core, we have a swivel engine, and on the outer booster's first stage, which just dropped away, was 2 flea solid rocket boosters. And currently, we have 2 swivel engines above those that are currently lit next to the central core. And in a moment, we will be igniting the other 2 boosters. And then for the second stage of the core, we will have another swivel engine. So it is an extremely simple rocket. I would advise it to be your 3rd, maybe 4th rocket, probably 1st, 2nd try to get into orbit. Easy to get into orbit with, has tons of Delta V. It's just a great rocket overall. But I'm sorry I couldn't get footage for building it. I'll try to recreate it and post a short video on my channel of just the build, so make sure to check that out. I'll try to repost it. And it looks like we have recently broken the sound barrier. Sorry I didn't mention that earlier. I've just hadn't really seen it yet, so. And we are about to pass 10 kilometers. We have passed 10 kilometers in altitude, or 10,000 meters up. So our goal today is to get into orbit, perform some science experiments. So what we will be doing is trying to get into orbit, and that's about it. Oh, and of course safely land. Oh, and it looks like we have some plasma. And there go our final side boosters. Now we just have a single engine burning for the core. We have passed 23 kilometers in altitude, and recently passed 1,000 meters per second, or 1 kilometer per second. Though we are dropping in speed quickly because the engine is no longer turned on. So we're slowing down. So, drag is what's causing us to slow down. Drag and gravity. It's kind of like when you throw a ball up into the air. When you throw it up at really, really fast, it'll still eventually slow down and then start coming back down. It's effectively what's happening to our rocket. Except we're going to turn back on the engine. It would be like hitting it again. It'd be like hitting a soccer ball again before it starts going back down. It'd be like hitting it, and once it's almost to the top, hitting it again before it comes back down. And it looks like we are now oriented to burn into orbit. Currently, it looks like we do not have enough Delta V, but that is because we are currently in the atmosphere. And now that we're out of the atmosphere, we have plenty of Delta V to safely get into orbit, because there is no drag in space. In Kerbal space, at least. In real life, there's still a little bit of drag. So that pretty much wraps it up until we start the burn into orbit. Up, and we have started it. I'm not sure why though, I did not have a flame going for a little bit. Something happened with the visual that caused the flame to not be going. And I have absolutely no idea what was going on. I accidentally clicked something causing the flame to go away, and I clicked it again, and it came back. And the reason it is spread out is because I have the mod Real Plume installed, which you should definitely get. It makes your plume just look amazing. So because there is no atmosphere in space, the plume spreads out. Oh, and we are starting up the burn again. This burn, if successful, should put us in a stable orbit. And once we are in a stable orbit, which means our periapsis, or our lowest point in our orbit, does not go into the atmosphere or surface. If it goes into the surface, then we have a big problem and we are way low on fuel. But if it goes into the atmosphere, that's only a little problem, unless it goes below 69 kilometers. If it's like 69 and a decent amount, we'd be pretty much fine. It'll slow us down a little bit, but not very much. Sorry for the music being glitchy here. Comment below if I should take out the Kerbal Space Program music in my next video. Also, I have a few other mods on, other than Real Plume, that I will be talking about in this video. I have a mod called... I actually can't remember what it's called, sorry about that. I will tell you by the end of the video. But... so, currently, this is what the inside of the cockpit looks like. Looks like we will have just barely enough fuel to get down to the surface and safely land, but we should still have enough. This is just me kind of getting a good view, trying to get a nice view, just kind of showing you what Jeb is seeing from inside his cockpit. And that is just pretty cool view. The moon is lined up perfectly with it. Looks like that's a nebula or a different galaxy. I'm guessing a different galaxy though. The moon just lines up perfectly in its orbit at this spot. So that's about it for right now. Oh, and it looked like we just did a burn. Our periapsis, I don't think, is in the atmosphere yet. So, and I still have fuel, so I'm not exactly sure why. And it looks like we did not get very much science from that one. Same with that one. Because a lot of these I did on the last mission, so I'm not getting as much science points, if any. So now we will be warping around to our apoapsis, because that is the most efficient point to burn retrograde, which means the opposite of the direction we're traveling. So let's say you're walking backwards, then you're facing retrograde. If you're walking forwards, then you're facing prograde, no matter which direction you're walking. So, instead of having to shrink the highest point up, which is my apogee, down, it saves a lot of fuel by just moving my lower point a little bit. Saving fuel. Oh, and we have re-entered the atmosphere. Let's see if we get any fireworks from our second stage. We're burning a little bit more to just slow down and use up the last bit of our fuel. Because I was hoping to land in the desert and get some extra science points. But, as you can tell, that burn was not nearly enough. If I had more fuel, I would have been able to burn for longer to get me to land inside of the desert instead of a different biome. The reason I'm doing this is to create more drag by having more surface area. But then I flip back so I don't overheat. Because drag will cause me to slow down, so I wanted the extra drag. So I would slow down faster and hopefully get you some fireworks. Though, we do not get any fireworks, sadly. This is just me checking the temperature overlay, which you can do with F12 on your keyboard. And there goes that stage. As you can see, we do not get any fireworks. It goes too far away for us to see any fireworks. I think it does explode, but it gets too far away first. And there it goes. It's out of physics range. You can still see it, but it does not have any particles on it, and now you can no longer see it. Oh, and I will put the mods down in the description so all of the mods that I have on will be down in the description. So you can check that out, and some will have a little recommendation next to them. So, because those are the ones that I would be recommending, but I will definitely recommend Real Plume. It is a very nice looking mod. The waterfall, which is one that I don't use, also looks really nice. But, we are almost in the lower atmosphere, so let's really hope we start slowing down enough, or we will burn up. And the reason that in my last video I was having trouble with the heat shield is in the new update. Heat shields glitch out when they're placed on service modules or other container modules other than pods and other capsules. So it kept like glitching inside, so it would still work, but it would reduce space and use up one of the attached nodes inside instead of one of the attached nodes on the outside, so I would not be able to put the science module right there. And in my opinion, it just looks better when it's attached and not glitching in. And it looks like we will be deploying my parachute in just a minute. We should have a nice soft water landing before returning to Kerbal. In just a minute, it'll look like you're in the Bahamas because the water turns turquoise when you go under. And there go the parachutes and the heat shield. Once the parachute fully deploys, the heat shield will fall away. the parachute is fully deployed, and that was the heat shield splashing down that you just heard. But in just as right after we land, you'll see the water turn turquoise, because when you go under, it just looks beautiful. Comment down below if you can come up with any other Kerbal Space Program series. Or is it series? Please comment down below if it's series or series. Please help. But that pretty much wraps up the video. And now I just am doing any new science experiments, and there's the turquoise water that I was telling you about. Doesn't it look pretty cool? Oh, and don't forget, if you comment in the first 60 minutes of the video's release, you will get a shout out in the next video. Though, if you comment on a Kerbal video, you'll get a shout out in the next Kerbal video. If you comment in a Minecraft video, you'll get a shout out in the next Minecraft video. Same with Roblox or any other game. And that pretty much wraps it up. We just have to go back, collect our science points, do some more science, collect the science points, and unlock some new gear, and that'll pretty much wrap up the video. Oh my, we got 25 science. Not quite as much though. Well, actually no, that is a little bit more than my second launch in this series. This is my third rocket. And now we can actually buy some more stuff, though we can only buy one thing. And that pretty much wraps it up. This is just me trying to decide really what I should buy. I was thinking about doing basic science, but then I decided I would try and get to the moon in a future video. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, leave a like, subscribe, and have a nice day.